Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Riverdale recap of the Movie Mates channel. I am Matthew, of course, joined by my wonderful co-host and best friend.
Callum.
Hey, man, lovely to see you. So, as I was saying, Riverdale recap. I think this is season 5, episode 7 now. So, we're getting sort of towards the third of the way through the season so far. And yeah, I'm just gonna pass it over to Callum to explain, like giving too much away, what's happened in this episode for us to talk about. So yeah, off to you, man.
So Veronica has, recognized that that there's, the town of Riverdale is on the brink of economic collapse. So she enlists some illegal child labor in order to sort that out. And in turn, we have Jughead continuing his search into the mystery of the Mothmen. Betty's investigation of the missing girls within Riverdale, and Archie tries to start a fire department. Uh, I would say this is
Classic.
probably. I don't think this is the worst episode of the season. To be fair, it's
I
it's been
do.
a solid season.
It's been a very solid
It's
season. I just think there's a lot going on here, isn't there, mate? As you said, a lot going on.
Yeah. This was the only episode where I have thought consciously that there was a moment where I was like, I hate this. I don't want to watch this. The rest of the season, I've been pretty much. This is actually, I mean, not high
Decent.
quality television, but high quality Riverdale and
Yeah.
decent television.
Decent, at least decent, yeah. And I think we've got one scene in particular here, Callum, where I'll be honest, I just completely fast forwarded it, so I didn't have to sort of bear the brunt of its insufferable nature. We both know what scene we're talking about there, but yeah, I think like you're saying, there is a lot going on here. There's three storyline, well, at least three. I mean, there's also like a Tony Cheryl storyline which occupies a lot of this episode, a lot. But yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But yeah, just before we kick off today's Riverdale recap, thanks so much to everyone who has supported us recently. We really do appreciate that massively. And yeah, also our 50th, sorry, not our 50th, our 2 year anniversary, 50 years. Imagine we're doing podcast 50 years. Our 2 year anniversary of the podcast is coming up, and Callum and I are thinking of doing some sort of cool special videos. So if you have any suggestions for what you'd like us to do, let us know in the comment section down below, or email us at moviematespodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, mate, I'll let you open the floor, dude, with your remarks in today's episode.
So I think this will just be sort of a scattered kind of review where we're
Yeah,
just talking about little
yeah,
moments here and there because we've sort of moved past all substance and we probably won't hit that until sort of the mid-season finale and the finale. I do think though that I think there's a little less filler and waffle within these episodes because they sort of had to use the first three episodes of this presumably a 21-22 episode season
mm,
dedicated to wrapping up last season. So I think that this season will be a little bit tighter, less just meandering. But they do save some room for some utter dog shit,
they
and that
absolutely
that would
do,
be
mate.
within this episode the battle for leadership of the Vixens,
Good old
and of
dance off.
course the moment which we're referring to, of course, is the dance off. And I think that the dance offs represent the absolute worst of the show. And it's not even funny how bad they are. Like it's genuinely just difficult to watch.
Yeah, and it's weird because I think as the more and more this season in particular is going on, the more and more it's making me dislike Cheryl and Tony, which never really
Mm.
occurred to me in the previous seasons. I always thought they were really strong characters, but it seems like the more they give them to do, the more insufferable they get in my brain, which isn't probably a very nice thing to say for me, granted, but I don't know. I just think their plot lines are the weakest in the show. Like when everything, because for me, I think this episode there's a lot of serious stuff in regards to disappearances of the women, namely Betty's sister Polly. You've got the Mothmen and stuff like that with some cool flashbacks, and then you've also got a reveal at the end of the trash bag killer's back, but also obviously Archie starting the fire department, and then in the middle of that there's this weird goofy plot line about the who owns the Vixens, and there's this weird dance off. Like it just felt a little bit silly when compared to the other three plot lines, which are so sort of you know a lot more serious and a lot more sort of important to the characters rather than some dance off. Do you know what I mean? That's how I was feeling about it. They have their place in the show, I think, because in a sense, I'm sure. I'm sure they're in an American high school. That's a pretty big culture there, but it's moved past that high school phase, I think. So I thought they were going to let that slide, let that pass when they left high school, but no.
Yeah, it does make me sad, and I'm sure it does. For every fan of Riverdale, especially Choni fans,
Mm, for
because
sure.
I think Cheryl has always been insufferable. I've always hated Cheryl, But up until this season, I've really appreciated Tony, really liked her,
For
and now
sure.
she's just horrible.
She is, yeah, she is.
She says that she's the one financing the Vixens. She's financing them with Cheryl's money. Give her control of the Vixens. Like I don't
Yeah.
understand how she thinks she has like any place. In well, one, she has no experience leading any kind of sports team, and two, she's using Cheryl's money and then pushing her out of leadership. Like
Yeah. And she also did Archie dirty,
she's
didn't she?
doing
With the
like she's
whole
doing this
money thing.
town such a huge favor, and Tony's just treating her like shit.
Yeah, I agree. And for some reason, like given the state of Riverdale, like how they're depicting it as, even Archie is, as as you commented in the first episode of season 5, or the flash forward about him in the bus stops. Like there's no bus stops even to sit at. You know what I mean? It's pretty serious stuff. But I just think you've got to get your priorities right. Starting a Vixens, cheerleading team is not a priority when the whole town is a hell on earth, so to speak. There's no fire department, and instead you're using money for a Vixens cheerleading squad. Like it's not, I don't know, it just seems a bit ridiculous. But that being said, I guess it's a classic Riverdale thing of you've got the Bulldogs, you've got the high school football team, and then you've also got the Vixens cheerleading team with Cheryl and Tony. But I don't know, just as the more and more the season goes on, they're just more insufferable, really. And it pains me to say that because I really liked them at the start of season 5. But yeah.
Yeah, it is really disappointing because yeah, fuck. It's a shame that more screen time has actually hurt Tony. Because
Oh
it was sort
yeah,
of the
for sure.
fans clamoring to see more of her. But that is not amongst the only embarrassing storyline, or at least nonsensical one.
Yeah.
One that I would say is a bit of a stretch is Veronica trying to inject a new currency called riverdollars, which
With her
are
own face on
emblazoned
it.
with her face on it.
Oh,
Back into
jeez.
the town to try and reinvigorate the economy. I just don't think that could work in a town of this size. Like, I just don't think there are enough businesses for a Riverdale exclusive economy. If you don't have outside trading with outside places, and you're using money within the town, and it
Mhm.
can only be used on they list 2 whole businesses. Like they
Yeah.
say, yeah, you can use that here at Pops or at the Bijou, or and then Tabitha just stops speaking
Yeah.
because there's
Yeah.
nowhere. Like
Yeah, I
like
know.
there's not an economy to invest money into.
Yeah. Well, one thing I am glad at is that seemed to just they killed that plot line in this episode as well when all the kids in the class had just inflated the market by making an extra 10,000, I think they said. But one thing I can't believe they allowed in this episode was they do sort of mention it, but like all these kids are just you know they're assigning themselves on the fire department, and Archie's like, just yeah, you're 16, just get your parents' permission. I don't know what parent is given permission for an untrained kid who's 16 to join up to a fire department where there's no actual permanent residents or members there. I thought that was a little bit silly. A lot of this episode was just silly stuff that just didn't work, I think. That being said, like it's still it's still a well constructed episode, and there's still good points here and there. I don't know. I think you're right. I think the whole river dollars or something. Yeah, it is river dollars, isn't it? It was just
I think so.
it was so silly. But I'm not sure if it's self aware. I'm not too sure. What do you reckon?
I don't think so.
No.
I think
Yeah.
that would be
Fair.
generous, but
Yeah.
yeah, for a show that seems so concerned, or a town that seems so concerned about how little money you have, the nonsensical resources that they're putting into certain things is just ridiculous because of course you need a fire department, and to Archie's credit, this is one of the most admirable things he's done, sort of
Agreed.
putting his life on the line, so massive respect for that. You have no money. Where are you planning on getting the water?
Yeah, that's a good point. And the hoses and all the not the costumes, all the apparatus, all the gear. It's a costly endeavor. You'd imagine starting a fire department. Never mind Riverdale, but yeah, no, you're right. You're spot on there, mate. One thing in this episode I did think was very, very cool. One of the coolest moments of the season was we surprisingly, for me anyway, we Pop Tate's back. I thought they'd just retired the character. He's back, and he's had an interaction with the Mothmen a few years ago, well, a number of decades ago actually. But there's a really cool flashback. I thought it was really, really well done. It's just nice to see that they're giving the Pop character more to do, and whenever they do that, it's always nice. So I thought it was a really great, probably the best part of the episode for me. I think. How did you feel about it, Callum?
Yeah, I loved seeing young Pop Tate, and I liked how he was able to play into this ever-growing mystery, and I'm liking the way that the direction that it's going, because all this time throughout these years, they've been building up these sort of supernatural threats. That's what we thought we were getting with Griffins and Gargoyles. We thought it might
Yes,
tie into the chilling adventures of Sabrina, which is meant to be set like one town over. So I feel like there's always been this slow build to the idea of supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And I still don't think that the Mothmen will be, because they keep creating these opportunities for better storytelling. Sorry, for better storytelling, and then they still manage to bottle it. I think there's
Yeah.
going to be some dumbass reason for this. There was literally a traction beam from a spaceship. Where that's what it's presented to look like. Like
What else could
what
it be?
conceivably
What
could
else could
yeah
it
what
be?
conceivably could it be?
Because I was thinking the lights could have been like the light, the way that the lights are sort of horizontal and the sort of yellowish lights at the start. I kind of thought that could be a connection to the truckers, and it's maybe just these
Hmm.
truckers who have like shining their beams into the restaurant. Like I thought that's what it was, but then I don't know what truck is like hanging up in the air. You know what I mean? It's behind. What else could it be, mate? At the end of the day, it's got to be
They
that.
find a weird deformed alien corpse.
Yeah, exactly. Forgot about that. And one question I wanted to ask you, it's sort of in this episode, it sort of was made clear to me that there is two separate mysteries going on here. Well, at least that's how it's perceived. There's obviously the disappearance of
Hmm.
Polly and the girls in the swamp that hire moons, and there's also the Mothmen. Do you think those are going to overlap and then come together as one, and they'll both be connected later on in the show, or do you think they are two separate storylines? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because before in say season 3, when we had sort of two antagonists, they came
Yeah,
together. It was Hiram Lodge and the Griffin, the Gargoyle King. They combined, and it turned out they were forces working together. But here, yeah, I think they're going to be one and the same. I think that this like let's be honest, the Mothmen are just going to be like the name of some gang, and
yeah, or like
it
yeah, I
will just be
agree.
something juvenile and
I
ridiculous. And
think it is going to be
I
the
feel like,
truckers. I think it is going to be the
yeah,
truckers.
I think absolutely. And there's nothing I don't. Is there anything that could ever make you stop watching Riverdale?
Um, like if they just did a reboot and just with new characters, I think if they just, that's the only thing. Like the core four, as much as we make fun of them and as much as they do ridiculous things, I do think they work well together. I do quite like them, but I think if they just started afresh and just did sort of like a classic scenario where they just go to like a younger ensemble or cast, which could work, that being said, but I think that I would just lose my interest in the show at that point. Is there anything that would cause you to watch like turn off Riverdale?
I don't think so, which is it's a sad statement, because I have continued watching worse TV shows to completion. But I just feel this compulsion. Anytime I start something, I have to finish it.
Yeah, well,
So
I respect that, Callum. I do respect that
I
a
can't
lot.
imagine this goes past like season 7.
Of
I'd say
course,
season
yeah, yeah,
6 or
yeah.
season 7 has to be its last. I mean, Arrow was one of the most successful CW shows ever, and it still wrapped up after 8 seasons.
Mhm.
I feel like these, I feel like some of these actors are going to get sort of delusions of grandeur, and
Yeah.
think that
Oh
they can
yeah.
be like go on to bigger and better things. So I think after season 6, maybe you're going to see, even if they do continue the show, actors will start dropping out, I think.
Yeah, even the Flash is getting to that stage where you'd sort of think they need to be wrapping it up sometime soon. You'd say it's getting to what, season 7, so you wouldn't imagine it lasts much longer than that. And also, like when KJ Appa's coming out in interviews and saying, "Yeah, Riverdale, filming Riverdale is like working in a prison or something," he said something to that. I'm not sure if we've talked about that in the latest Riverdale recap.
I don't think so. I've never
Like
heard
that,
that.
that's quite like that is that's a risky thing to say when you're currently an actor working on the show that's airing. You know what I mean? That's a risky thing. But yeah, I think it will. I think if there's going to be an actor who's going to drop out, it'll either be Cole Sprouse or KJ Appa. I think they're the two that will drop out if that will be the case. And I'm not sure how they recover that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think 100% KJ Appa is looking in that direction, because
He's the bigger star, I suppose.
sort of a similar thing with like Jacob Elordi from the Kissing
Yeah.
Booth.
Mm.
Who's made a lot of statements about, this is the worst thing I've ever worked on. I can do so much better. Pretty much, that exact sentiment.
Yeah.
You know, a mild paraphrase. He pretty much said exactly that.
Yeah.
And with him being on like Euphoria, and him getting sort of jobs in films, it is accurate. But I just feel like that does set a precedent for actors of that sort of similar caliber to
I agree.
say, yeah, I'm gonna bin off, this sort of cringe franchise and try to make it big. So I think we're gonna see
Yeah.
KJ Apa, because I mean he proved in Songbird that he has star
I
potential.
thought he was very good there. I really do, and I think he's good in a lot of things. He is he's charismatic. I get why people really like him. I for one really like him. I think he's great, but I think Riverdale he is limited, to be fair to that character. It's a very one dimensional character where he's supposed to be sort of the heartthrob of the group, but he's also like the good guy. You know what I mean? He's the Peter
Hmm.
Parker, I would say, of that group. Maybe a little bit cooler than that. But I think I think he's the biggest star of the show, arguably, maybe along with Cole Sprouse, maybe. But
Mm.
I think he'll be the first to leave. I really do. And on the subject of the Mothman, mate, I would actually really love it if they just did roll with the aliens and they just went full on with aliens. I think it would maybe be a bit hard to settle into at first. Given that all the other stuff were reasonably realistic. Obviously, Griffin and Gargoyles wasn't most realistic, but they had serial killers. The first season I think was quite a realistic storyline. They've got they have done realistic storylines before. I would really respect it if they just went in supernatural. Yeah, this is aliens. This is how we're doing things now. It would be really hard. I think that would lose a lot of viewers. I'll be honest. I think that's a big risk. But I think in the long run, that could improve the quality of the show. Like we're saying, I actually really like the Mothman mystery here. I think it's really compelling so far. Would you like it to go down that supernatural alien route, or what do you think?
Oh, 100%. I am getting really sick of it just being Hiram Lodge
Yeah,
once again.
yeah, for
I
sure.
he's been in the show since season 2, and this is season 5, right? And I think he's been the main or secondary antagonist.
Every
Like
season.
three out of 4 seasons he's been in. I don't think he wasn't really a big presence last season.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
true.
sort of the video auteur and the Stonewall Prep guys. So I just feel like they should have retired that character for this season, but we have to see him again. I want this to be his last, and I want him to have sort of no involvement in the Mothmen or the
Yeah,
disappearance storylines. I want him to just be the
yeah,
antagonist of starting up Riverdale again. I want him to be the business side of it, but I do want to see aliens. We won't. This is Riverdale.
yeah. I
They
agree.
keep it simple and keep it dumb.
They
That's the
do.
formula.
At the same time, though, Mark Consuelos is definitely in my top three favorite actors in the show. So, in a weird way, I think the only way for me that I would like to see the character depart is if they just take away his fortune and just put him in prison. Like, if you just kill him off, then there's no return of Mark Consuelos. I want the door to remain open. You know what I mean? I think you've just got to take away his fortune and stick him in jail, so that he can't manipulate things. I think that's the only way you can sort of remove the character temporarily, if you get me. Because, like I said, I think Mark Consuelos is terrific, to be honest with you, mate.
Yeah. We get confirmation in this episode that Hiram isn't actually the mayor anymore. So like, what power does he actually have to,
Yeah, I guess it's
because
just money,
he
isn't it? But
I
yeah,
don't
it
but
should
I
have
don't
real
remember the
power.
word they used, but it's like disincorporate or unincorporate the town of Riverdale. So they pretty much dissolve its sort
Yeah,
of
no need for an heir.
citizenship as
Yeah,
a town. But
yeah,
then like what? Yeah, but like what power do you have to do that? Like how does money mean that you make a decision like that?
yeah. It's a good point. It's a really good point as well. And with the whole subject of with Hiram, obviously we see Reggie working for him as well. And here Reggie's got a little bit of a nice moment, which is always nice to see for me, because he sort of tips Betty off that there's a body in the swamp, which was nice. And interestingly enough, mate, I'll just ask you this question about jumping straight into it because it might contain some spoilers. Did you see the promo for the next episode by any chance?
I did not.
Oh, it looks amazing. It looks really good. I don't want to spoil it for you because I'm sure you can check it out after.
You think it's spoilery?
It's not necessarily it's nothing huge spoilery. It's like not a spoiler. It's just like a filler episode. Well, it's depicted as. Can I
Okay.
tell you what? Can I tell you the basis of it?
Yeah, I'll take a look at it after.
So Cheryl's throwing this party
Mm.
at the Blossom residence, and she, the way in the first episode of Riverdale, they did like a spin the bottle style thing to introduce all the characters, where like Archie and
Yeah, yeah.
Veronica have kiss in the closet. They do that,
7 minutes in heaven.
yeah, they do that here. So it's like Reggie goes in for the kiss with like Kevin or Fangs or something. It's strange. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And
This sounds juicy.
it does sound juicy. So it's like a classic sort of like Archie's in like this stripper fireman outfit. So he is. It's quite strange. So I'm trying to think where's this gonna go. You know what I mean? It looks really good. Looks really not Archie looks really. I mean Archie does look good, but the episode looks good. Is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I think I just hope they give Reggie a lot more to do because I'm a big Reggie fan, as it's been established here. Even though if he likes to drug people with Jingle Jangle at the prom. Am I a bit laggy? No.
Good guy overall.
Yeah, good guy. Very good guy.
Yeah, a little bit, but no worries. But yeah, the best thing he's done all season has been he didn't help cover up a murder. That's his peak morality.
Peak Reggie there for sure. And I suppose one thing that was sort of at the very end of the episode, it's revealed that the TBK is back, or the trash bag killer. And I was just wanted to ask you, do you think that's going to be a character who makes his way to Riverdale to hunt down Betty, and that's going to be a potential storyline, or what do you think?
Ooh. See, I think that this is sort of a good way to establish sort of potential future plot lines, because recently there's a show that I'm a big fan of, Bates Motel. Have you heard of it?
Haven't, dude. I haven't.
It's like a contemporary reimagining of the events like leading up to and involving Psycho, the Alfred Hitchcock movie from 1960.
Yeah.
And it's sort of about this small town, filled with like drugs and corruption and crime. And very clearly, someone watched season 1 of that and then just read an Archie comic, mixed the two and made Riverdale. Like, it is so clearly just a good version of what Riverdale is trying to be.
Okay.
And I mean, I've completely forgot where my point's going, but I think that what I'm trying to say is them having like this serial killer present, and him presenting this potential threat for Betty. I think is because that sort of scene that we see in episode 4 of this season is like a callback to Silence of the Lambs. So I think where they sort of cherry pick from big sort of entertaining horror and sort of supernatural and mystery pop culture, I think that's where the show shines.
Agreed,
where there's
100%.
I think maybe it's just because you're seeing glimmers of better stuff. Like they're copying better stuff and not doing it as well. But at least it's good stuff that they're copying.
Yeah, it's a show that's based on mystery, and that's what makes it so compelling for me. Especially the earlier seasons as well, with the Jason Blossom and the Red and the Black Hood. I always keep going to call him the Red Hood. But yeah, I think the trash bag killer, like I think we sort of said this at the start of season 5, or at least the flash forward anyway. We would like to see a continuation of these plot lines from the characters' new lives. Obviously, Archie in the military, he's kind of got this guy Eric with him now in Riverdale. He seems to be a side character. He seems a little bit ominous to me, though. I kind of feel like he's going to have like a dark path in the future. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, he plans to assassinate Hiram Lodge in this episode, and he's just barely talked out of it. I mean, they'd all be better off if he just let it happen. I mean, well, like, what is Archie's sense of justice? Because he's.
It's a good point.
Scientists
he's have tried to figure that out for years, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a vigilante. He's beating the shit out of criminals. It's like, I'm sure he's accidentally killed someone and not realized it. And Hiram Lodge has, intentionally killed countless people. So I mean, like, where does he draw the line on the level of, being a vigilante? I mean, I suppose he maybe just wants to spare Eric's quality of life. He doesn't want him to go to prison. But yeah, I suppose that is more a sentiment than you shouldn't kill Hiram Lodge. It's more, I'm worried that Hiram Lodge being dead would ruin your life. So yeah, I suppose that is a better way for them to push it. So I mean, I think there is some darkness there, but I don't necessarily think there's some underlying secret. I think it is probably just trauma.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait until. On a side note, I just can't wait until Jughead and Tabitha get together. I just hope their end game. I just hope he doesn't go back to Betty. Just Jughead. Tabitha seems lovely, so just go for Tabitha, my friend. You know what I mean?
I mean, just thinking about it, like Bughead has been together like since like the first half of season 1. That's where they started laying the seeds for that relationship. and they lasted like 3.5 whole seasons.
Mm.
Like that's an insane amount of time to actually be together on a TV show. Because usually I mean in shows like that 70s show. I mean, so it's a weird shout, but one of the lasting romances on that happens in the final season, which is like season 8.
Yeah.
So I mean, to think that characters would get together in season 1 and not last for the entire duration of the show, I
Fair
think was a
play.
bit of a pipe dream.
It is.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't go back to her.
Yeah.
I hope he stays with Tabitha, because
Agreed.
I think that's they have a lot of chemistry.
Yeah, I can see Archie getting back with Veronica, to be honest with you. Very, very possibly. But yeah, that wraps up my thoughts on this episode. Callum, anything from yourself, man?
Nothing else from me, Matthew.
Well, that leads me into the question: what would you rate this one out of 10, mate?
Well, I can't really identify why, but I do think this has been the weakest of the season. I
agree.
I think it was probably the Cheryl and Tony stuff that dragged this down for me. Because I just think everything else to this point has been between tolerable and good. I've been like that was a good episode. Nothing, there wasn't a single moment where I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
But here
Yeah.
it did have one of those. So it's not exactly that this was horrendous. It's just that it's been a pretty solid season, and this was a minor dip. So I think in comparison to the rest of Riverdale, as we're sort of identifying it, of course the quality is so much higher than any season that has come before this one. But this is the lowest of the episodes for this season that have come before. So I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10.
That's exactly what I had in my notes, mate, as well. You've taken the words out of my mouth, to be honest with me. I think this episode is a slightly minor dip. That being said, if I compare it to season 4, season 3 stuff, it's one of the better episodes of those seasons, to be honest with you. But that being said, I think Cheryl, apart from the Cheryl and Tony stuff, it's nice to see Pop Tape being given more to do. I'm really intrigued with this Mothman mystery. It seems really compelling. I love the Tabitha and Jughead stuff, and I also like the way they're sort of I think they're successfully just about balancing two mysteries with the disappearance of Polly, but also the Mothman. So I have to give the writers props for that. They've clearly put a lot more effort and thought into this season, in my opinion. So yeah, 7.5 from me as well. But season 5 has been very, very solid so far. But yeah, I mean, that wraps up Callum and I's thoughts on the latest episode of Riverdale. As always, you can check out our Riverdale playlist, which has all the reviews of later season 4 and season 5. So check that out as well. And yeah, we'll stay tuned next week. We'll be reviewing the steamy episode where Reggie could potentially kiss Fangs, I think it is. Yeah. So stay tuned. And yeah, stay tuned later on the channel this week, guys, for a podcast about 2020 missed movies, and then hopefully a mini review of either Tom and Jerry, Cherry, or both. So yeah, it'll be an action-packed week for the Movie Mates channel. And yeah, thanks very much today, Callum. Appreciate your time a lot, my friend. And yeah, hope you're all well. Hope your family and friends are all safe and well too. Take care, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.